Welcome to Get Organized at Work. I'm your host, Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, healthcare leader, mom of three, and your go-to guide for ditching the chaos and taking control of your workday. This is the show where we turn overwhelming to-do lists into clear, actionable plans so you can crush your goals and show up as your best self at work and in your life. Whether you're here for strategies to stay ahead or systems to simplify your workday, you're in the right place. Let's get organized, have some fun, and make this year your best year in your career yet. Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to Get Organized at Work podcast. I'm Kayla, I'm your host. And before we dive in, I want to personally invite you to the Get Organized at Work community. This is where I go deeper on everything I talk about here: templates, systems, walkthroughs, and live Q&As. And specifically for today's episode, I actually have a full YouTube tutorial walking you step by step through how I do this monthly check-in inside my OneNote hub, and that's linked in the show notes. So if you're like, okay, I love this idea, but I want to see it in action, definitely go check that out after the episode and consider joining us inside the community. All right, let's get into it. I want to start with a question. When was the last time you actually paused and looked at your life and work as a whole? I know, a big question. I'm not just talking about checking off tasks, getting through your inbox, or reacting to meetings, but have you actually asked, how am I doing? Am I on track? Do I even like how I'm spending my time right now? Because here's what I see happening all the time, and I've been there too. We are so busy managing our full days that we never step back to lead our months. Now, before we dive into this core idea of the monthly check-in, let's just have some real talk. It's mid-April, I guess you could call it, when episode's coming out, which blows my mind. I don't know about you if you're thinking, oh my gosh, quarter one's over. Yeah, 2026 came in, and for me, at least, it feels like it went by quick. And at the same time, it's been a long time. So if your first part of your year feels like a lot, it's really important that you pause to check in and see where you've been. And that way you can help yourself lead better in the coming months. So yeah, it's mid-April. There's still time to course correct for the year, but a fourth of the year is over. So let's get back to this monthly check-in core idea. I want to frame this really simply. I've talked about my proactive success algorithm before. So it's self-awareness plus intention equals proactiveness, which leads to strategic results. Your monthly check-in is where you build self-awareness and you choose intention. So instead of just continuing your year on autopilot, we're going to decide how we choose to function the rest of the year. Now, why does this matter? Without a monthly check-in with yourself, you repeat the same patterns, you carry the same overwhelm, and you don't actually notice your growth, which we all want to celebrate our growth and look back and see, okay, how many pebbles did we throw over our shoulder? Do we have a mountain back there? That's awesome. We need to recognize that. And you often stay in reaction mode if you don't do this check-in. But with the check-in, you can see more clearly, you can reset intentionally, and you can move forward on purpose instead of, by happy accident. All right. So now that you know why a monthly check-in is helpful and how it helps you create self-awareness, let me walk you through how simple this actually can be. So inside my OneNote hub, I actually have a monthly check-in dashboard, and it's broken into two parts. So again, you can grab this for yourself, or you can recreate this for yourself in OneNote or whatever tool that you use. Part one is the monthly standard work. And basically, it's a short checklist that is your structured reset. So here's what I like to walk through each month. Number one, capture your wins. You want to gather any kudos, thank yous, or moments that you're proud of and write them down, save them in this space. Because we move so fast, we often forget what's going well. So these are also great things to capture for performance reviews, or when you're having a hard day to look back at what you've accomplished. They're things and little nuggets you can share with your boss, or just for yourself to see, oh yeah, actually what I'm doing is paying off. I am seeing growth and people are excited about that. Make sure you document that. Number two is reviewing your goals. So I always have a personal or professional annual goals template inside my OneNote. And so if you have your annual goals, you want to take a look at those. Where am I at? Am I on track? And do I need to adjust anything? Keep it super simple. Maybe you can ask, what's the next right step? Do I need to, take some time to plan for this month? You also want to review your team and project goals, right? So are there any team goals that are green, good, on track? Are any of them on red, need escalation, evaluating them? Do we want to keep them or scrap them or defer them? So this is a great time to just do a little bit of a high level check-in as opposed to a deep dive that you might be doing on the day-to-day. Number 3, look at your projects and the areas you manage. You can ask these simple questions. What's moving? What feels stuck? And what needs attention? You don't have to spend a ton of time on this because hopefully your gut should tell you. You probably already know, but just sort of seeing your projects and the areas you manage maybe written down in your OneNote or wherever you're documenting, it'll remind you, yes, this thing is stuck. I need to pay attention to it next month. And then the last part of the standard work is number 4, which is archive what you don't need. So this part's huge, especially if you're using a tool like OneNote or Planner. Not everything needs to come with you into the next month. I think this is a good time to be like, thank you for this item that existed, this resource, this old notes, these completed works, things that no longer matter. Let these things go. And if you're using my OneNote template, all you got to do is drag and drop these into the archive folder. So they're still there. They're still searchable in OneNote, but you don't need them in front of your face, taking up space and really expensive real estate, really, that should be used for other things that need your immediate attention. So in summary, the standard work is number 1, capture your wins. Number 2, review your goals. Number 3, look at your projects and areas. And number 4, archive what you don't need anymore. And I would say, how long should this take me? I wouldn't spend more than 15 minutes on this piece. This should be pretty quick. In fact, for the whole reflection, I would 15, 20 minutes. You could probably do it in 5 or 10, depending on, how often you're reflecting. If you're doing a weekly reflection, it might be faster. This is something that's not meant to be a barrier, like, oh, I have to sit down and spend, an hour on this. This is something that should be just a quick high-level reset. All right, so that was part 1 of the monthly check-in. This is part 2, the reflection. This is the magic. This is where the self-awareness really deepens. So you want to ask yourself questions like, how am I doing? Do I feel fulfilled? Am I on track or behind? Do I need any support? Am I craving growth or rest? And what do I need to be successful next month? You don't have to ask all of these questions. They're just some of the good examples. And you don't have to overcomplicate it and go into detail. Just a few sentences or bullet points can completely shift your clarity. It's one thing to think these, but to actually put it on paper and to write it down and, make it real, that's going to help you. This is the part that most people skip because it feels slow or unnecessary, right? Like I already thought about it. Or maybe you'll say, well, I don't really have time for that. But this is actually the work that makes everything easier. So when you're being clear with yourself, you can make better decisions, prioritize more, or, stop carrying everything that's, doesn't actually matter. You can let some of that stuff go. So for example, when I was doing the demo on this, I wrote in my reflection, I was kind of thinking about my business. So I was able to put out new OneNote Hub tutorials each week, ! Like I was excited. I would like to watch more videos on various website types because I'm having issues with my current website. I want to optimize it. And then the third bullet point I wrote was, I'm thinking about reaching out to possible mentors, right? Like maybe I need to level up my mindset a little bit in certain areas. And so are there people that I know that maybe I want to reach out to, was just a thought I had. And then the fourth bullet point was, wish I had hit a specific milestone, but project got delayed because of XYZ, create new timeline for April. So this was actually more of an example for my video. You could have something like, I didn't hit this goal, or I was wanting to get to this specific place, but it didn't happen. And so we just have to adjust for next month. So that's a really good example of the type of notes and reflection you can do. All right. So again, what does this look like in real life? Just want to remind you, it doesn't have to be a big, overwhelming thing. This can and should be 15, 20 to 30 minutes at the end of the month. You could do it right now for March. There's still time. I would personally grab a coffee, make it cozy and reflective, maybe play your favorite jams. It's up to you. And just pull up your dashboard and start thinking. So, this is basically your pause and lead yourself moment, which is super important and still can be categorized as work. It's not extra, it is part of being a more proactive and success and results driven leader. And I want to emphasize an identity shift for you. Organized leaders don't just manage tasks, stay busy, or keep going. They pause, they reflect, and they adjust. They lead themselves first. And I've seen this written in various places before, so I don't know who to credit it to, but it was, you can't lead others until you lead yourself. So remember, if this feels like, oh, maybe it's not work because you're pausing to reflect, remember, this is the work. Leading yourself is the work. Becoming a more self-aware leader is going to help you be more proactive and strategic. So this is definitely part of your role. All right, if this is something you want to start doing, I would love to support you with it. Inside the Get Organized at Work community, I go deeper into these exact workflows. We have templates like this monthly check-in and how to actually build this into your routine. We go live, you can ask questions, all that jazz. So again, I'll link the full YouTube walkthrough of this exact dashboard inside my OneNote Hub in the show notes so you can see exactly how to do this. Remember, you don't need to work harder to get organized. You just need to pause long enough to see clearly and to choose your next step with intention. All right. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you in the next episode of Get Organized at Work podcast. Bye.